What's going on, guys? Chase here in Aftershock videos, and as promised per the poll I put on Instagram and Facebook, you guys voted on which deck list you want to see next, and we have for today the Gizmeks. Now, Gizmeks are kind of cool because all of their attacks and defenses are the same. They have some pretty good banishing effects, and then some pretty good effects, for themselves. So let's go by card. We do have two Gizmek Okami, the dreaded Deluge Dragon. You could pay 1,500 life points to destroy all monsters on the field that were special summoned from the extra deck. Also, you can only attack with one monster this turn. So it's a little restrictive, but you do get a board wipe. Then it says you can only use each of the following effects of Gizmek Okami once per turn. If two or more monsters special summoned from the extra deck are on the field, which is a lot of the cases, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card in your possession is sent to the graveyard by your opponent, you can banish one monster in your opponent's graveyard, then gain life points equal to its attack. So what I think is so cool about this one is with DPE just on a complete rampage right now in the meta, if this card gets sent to the graveyard by a Destroyer Phoenix, you can banish it from the graveyard, get it completely out of play, and then you gain 2,500 life points. So that is pretty cool. Next, we have one Gizmek Kaku, the Supreme Shining Sky Stag. This one says if a monster is in the extra monster zone, you could special summon this card from your hand. So that ties in with possibly our Link Karibo if we have it in hand. It's a little circumstantial, so unless you're going against specifically Sky Strikers or, something more guaranteed, I wouldn't run more than one of these. Plus, it is somewhat searchable with another card that you could add it to the top of your deck, so you can add it to your hand the next turn. But this also says you can target one face-up monster in the extra monster zone, equip that face-up monster to this card. So if they so happen to have a Predaplan on the field or a Christian Halka Firebrax in the extra monster zone, you can take control of it. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special summon the equipped card. So that is pretty cool. Next, we have a little bit more of the familiar Gizmek, the Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentron Sky Slasher. This is more the reoccurring monster of the deck. It says if this card is in your hand or graveyard, quick effect, you can banish 8 cards from the top of your deck face down, special summon this card. And then the second effect is you can banish 3 cards from your extra deck face down, then target one face up monster on the field and destroy it. The only bad part is this last sentence. It says you can only use one of its effects per turn and only once that turn. So it's either one or the other. So unless you could special summon this card a different way, then you can use a second effect. If not, it's vice versa. So that is the only thing somewhat restrictive about this card. Next, we have one Gamma Seal to tribute over any problem cards. We have two Gizmek Uka, the Festive Fox of Fecundity. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right, but this one says each time your opponent normal or special summons a monster, inflict 300 damage to them. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If a monster is special summoned from the main deck, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. So that's kind of cool. And then if this card is normal or special summon, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, special summon one monster from your hand or deck whose attack equals its own defense. So you get in with that same attribute. So you can get a free special summon potentially off of that monster being special or normal summon. So that's pretty cool. Next, we have one Gizmek Makami, the Ferocious Fanged Fortress. While 6 or more of your cards are banished, you can normal summon this card without tributing, and then you can only use each of the following effects of this card once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can discard one monster, add one monster whose attack equals its own defense and add it to your hand, except itself. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you could shuffle 6 of your banished cards back into the deck. So you could banish monsters to special summon this. So that's its first effect. So the second effect doesn't count, but for a first turn. Then you can, if this is in your hand, you could normal summon that without tributing. Then you can discard one card, add a monster to your hand. So then you can pitch a Tanagu or Tanaguku, and then you just see they start. It kind of starts snowballing. So that's pretty cool. And we'll get to this effect in a bit. This one is Gizmek Yada, the Gleaming Vanguard. So this one says you can special summon this card from your hand by attributing one normal set or summon monster. So any of those you could tribute over. During your main phase, you can only use each effect once per turn. During your main phase, if this card was normal or special summon this turn, you can immediately, after its effect resolves, normal summon one monster. If you do, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except monsters except monsters with the same original type as that monster. So that's really circumstantial. But if this card is special summoned by its own effect, it's tributed, gain 20, 50 life points. So a little bit of a life point gain there. Next we have two Gizmek Arakami, the Hailbringer Hog. This one says if you control a machine monster whose attack equals its own defense, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one machine monster who you control whose attack equals its own defense. Send one monster from your deck to the graveyard whose attack equals its own defense with a lower level than that targeted monster. And if you do, the targeted monster gains attack and defense equal to the level of the monster sent to the graveyard. So times 100. So get a little bit of it. This one's a little bit of an attack boost. It's a free special summon, plus you get a little bit of a machine boost if you need to. Next, since we're banishing so much, we got 3 Necrofaces. If this card is normal summoned, you could shuffle all banished cards back into your deck, and this card gains 100 attack for each card shuffled into the main deck by this effect. If this card is banished, each player banishes 5 cards from the top of their deck, or their entire deck if less than 5. So this is a great resource recycling tool. Next, we have 3 Gizmek Tanaguku, the Immobile Intellect. This is, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can take one machine monster whose attack equals its own defense from your deck and place it on top of your deck. So this kind of helps you guarantee your next card draw. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one machine monster in your graveyard whose attack equals its own defense, and special summon this card and special summon it in defense. So this is it's a Gizmek Monster Reborn. Next, we have 3 Ash Blossoms for interruptions. We have 2 Grand Majus for all the banishing, and hopefully get a big beat stick on the field. Next, we have 2 Gizmek Naganaki, the Sunrise Signaler. This one reads, you can tribute one machine monster whose attack equals its own defense. Special summon from your deck one machine monster whose attack equals its own defense with a lower level than the tributed monster. You could banish this card from your graveyard, add to your hand one of your banished face-down machine monsters whose attack equals its own defense. And you can only use each effect once per turn, so that one is pretty good. Next, we have 3 Gizmek Inaba, the Hopping Hare of Hakuto. This one says, when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon one machine monster whose attack equals its own defense from your hand in defense position. So that is pretty good right there. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one machine monster you control whose attack equals its own defense. This turn, you cannot declare attacks except with that monster. So that's a little circumstantial. Also, its attack and defense become the combined original attack of all machine monsters you control whose attack equals their own defense. So unless you board wiped already and really the Deluge Dragon or the Sky Stag is on the field with a bunch of other ones, I mean this thing could get up to about 10,000. So that's pretty good. Next, we have 2 Effect Veilers, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Triple Tactics Talent, 1 Machine Dupe to go with our Inaba, the Hopping Hare, to go into Link Climbs, 1 Monster Reborn, since we'll be discarding or sending to the graveyard some monsters, 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, 1 Twin Twisters, and here is, I believe, the only back row that the Gizmek have, and that is the field spell, Sacred Scrolls of the Gizmek Legend. It says, during your main phase, you can excavate the top 3 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can add 1 excavated machine monster whose attack equals its own defense. Also, banish the remaining cards face down. Now, you see why Necroface is becoming a little bit more important. Each time a monster whose attack equals its own defense is normal or special summon, place 1 counter on this card. While this card has 10 or more counters, neither player can activate the effects of monsters on the field whose attack does not equal its own defense. So that is a high cost for a really good effect. However, not sure if we're going to be able to really utilize that effect, because that it requires 10 counters. So, and plus somebody can destroy it. So unless really you get the Godly Hand, it's really more or less just for the adding the hand with the excavation effect. So pretty circumstantial again. So you only need 1 of those. Next, we have for interruptions 2 Infinite Impermanences. 2 Infinite Impermanences. Yeah. 2 Ice Dragon's Prison, 1 Call of the Haunted, 1 Solemn Strike, and 1 Solemn Judgment. Now, for the extra deck, we do have 1 Linkuriboh, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Access Code Talker, and since we are heavily banishing, we do have 1 Topological Zeroboros. This is a Link 4 with an attack of 3,000, and it requires 2+ effect monsters, so it's pretty generic. Next, we have one number 100 Numeron Dragon, which ties in with our number 38 Harbinger. Just that's going to be it for the material because we will be running number 97. Next, for our synchros, since we are running 3 Ashes and an Effect Veiler, we can go into the Brian Act, and that'll help us discard cards in the field if we or into the graveyard if we need it. Next, we have a Coral Dragon. This card, you can discard 1 card, then target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it. If this synchro card is sent from the field to the graveyard, which is a very bold statement, we can draw a card. Next, we have one Baron de Fleur. Never played this one yet because I don't have it in real life, but this is a pretty easy one to get into. Okay, next for the side deck, we do have some just extra stuff sprinkled in here. We do have 1 DD Crow, 1 Eater of Millions, 1 Rudy Rose Dragon. Since getting into a level 10 is not that hard. And then Black Rose Dragon per the effect of the Rudy Rose Dragon. 1 Relinquish Anima if we're going against somebody who needs a little bit more monsters taken away from them. So we could easily do that. We got Raigeki, Pot of Prosperities. Again, banishing and drawing cards, kind of what this deck does. 1 Called by the Grave and 2 Bottomless Trap Holes for more banishing. Alright guys, so that'll do it for this deck profile. Let's just go ahead and jump into the duels and let's see what we can do. Alright guys, so here we are in EDO Pro. We are going to see if we can get this deck to really pop up and really pop off and really show you guys what this deck can really do. Okay, so first we have Gizmek Inaba, the Hopping Hare, so we can use that and special summon a monster by its own defense. So that is pretty good. So let's go ahead and normal summon the Hopping Hare. Activates the effect. We can special summon the Orochi. Then let's see. We can Monster Reborn it. So let's go into a Link Haribo. Now next we can activate, and we will pitch the banishing effects monsters. Okay, so we will pitch the Zera, the Numeron Gate, and just because we can, let's do the core. No, we'll do the Samsara. Okay, so we'll destroy the Link Haribo. We can Monster Reborn the Hare. Get that back on the field. And then we can get Haribo back on the field. And I believe that's all we can do right now. So we will do that. So next turn, these should get special summoned. Hopefully I played that. Pot of Prosperities, that's fine. Or sorry, Pot of Duality. Imperial Order. It's fine, we won't be running a bunch of spells. We got mostly good traps. There's the Imperial Order. Maybe that is. Or maybe that is. Who knows? Monsters. There he goes. Actually, I should special summon this. You send 1 Dinophora, Dinorphia. I never even heard of that archetype. So actually, yes, I guess. Then we will activate Orochi. Get another monster on the field. Getting back there. A Harpy's Feather Duster right now would be pretty sick. We got Necroface. That's pretty good. Okay, he's got a response. Superior Order. Not a big deal. Goes in match. Attribute a monster. Okay, if your life points, destroy both one card your opponent controls. That's fine, I guess. For one attribute. So that is the dark. I can't get the Necro face out. Let's normal summon this. I think it won't stick. No, attribute. No, it's type. It's a dark machine. This is dark zombie. I'm pretty sure it'll get sent to the graveyard, but maybe if I can get the effect off, maybe that'll help me. Let's see what happens. Anything in life points make your opponent shuffle monsters they control into their deck. Oh, not yet. Okay, so let's see who will have more attack. Shuffle back 11, so he gains 1,100. That'll put him at 2,300. I like this one better. Okay, well, we didn't get our summon or banishing effect off the summons off of that, so that's unfortunate. So then I guess you can only control one attribute. Oh, you can only each pick only one attribute of monsters, so we can get the dark. We'll banish those again. Get Orochi out, and then that should be game. Let's attack. And then attack. There we have it. Not too bad of a play. Alright, guys. Let's see if we can get into another match. Alright, guys. Here we are in our second match with the Gizmeks. So we are going to see if we can repeat that last game. That was pretty good. Okay, so we don't have... Let's see. Okay, so this one gets us our card on top of the deck, and then you can banish it and special summon in defense. So we got one special summon, well, normal summon. I didn't mean to set that. Set. Well, I didn't get to put my. I misclicked. So unfortunately, we will not be adding to hand this or adding to the top of the deck this turn. But we do have a few negates, so that's pretty good. So unless somebody destroys this, they're already in the battle phase, evenly matched. If controls more cards than you do, you can make. Yeah, let's. How about no? I don't want to get rid of my negates. Nice try. Lure of Darkness. 1 for 1. No, not yet. Cleaforts. Back to your hand. What card is this? DD. Oh, I said Cleafort. This is DD. Let's just keep. Let's keep banishing. Let's see what happens. So we'll get this. He quit. Interrupted that early, and you gave up that easily. Come on, dude. All right. Didn't really showcase what this deck can do, so we'll go into one more. All right, guys. Here we are in our third and final match to try to showcase what this deck can do. Hopefully, we get a little bit more of the better draws. Okay, hopefully we can effect Veiler it, and then we're going to Ice Dragon's Prison. That's a horrible start. Just turbo out. Oh, you're playing DDs, and you have Red Ice Dragoon in it. Sad. Sad. Alright, well first, let's try to activate our field spell. He's probably just... If he's running this and this, there's no way he's not going to just negate this out of sheer fear of anything. Sad. Okay, we'll set this. We'll wait. We'll wait. No. Okay, so now he's another monster on the field for me to target with the effective Veiler. I will activate. He's going to negate again, just because. See? Now, chain 2. Chain link 3. Get that Dark Magician out of here. And absolutely no problem. Take 2,000s. Better than the 6,000 I was about to receive. Otherwise, it's just no good. So he is 2,000 attack. You know what? I'll take the red eyes. Perfectly fine with me. And I guess we'll just battle. Get that out of here. Main phase 2. He surrendered. Dude, once you get Dragoon off the field, most of these decks, they just completely shut down. That is like their one ace in the hole. Now, I didn't get to really showcase what this match can do, but he could possibly want a rematch. All right. So the match isn't over yet, but now we know what this deck wants to do. So, it's my turn. When monster would be special summoned. Put that down. Normal summon. Activate, yes. So we do have the Ash in hand, so if he does try to send the Red Eyes Fusion, we can negate it. And then let's get a... We have a Solemn Strike. Let's wait and see if he puts anything in the extra monster zone. Or somewhere in a match over here, because we could go Anima or we could go Link Karibo. So we'll see. We'll wait and see. So I got the hair. That let us special summon. Veil of Darkness. Okay, I'm not worried about that. What is this? DD Proud, okay. Okay, not a problem. So 8 through 5, so 6, 7. Fine. 2,700, it's a little big, so we'll activate this. Get that off the field. End phase. Perfect. He surrendered again. Oh my god. Alright guys, and that'll do it for the final battle of this. I mean, it is what it is. When some decks just can't shut down when we have kind of a toolbox like this going on. I'm pretty sure he didn't have a chance, but yeah, that'll do it for this final match. Alright guys, and that'll wrap up this video for the Gizmek deck profile. I tried to make something as competitive and competent as possible, but I had never played these cards prior to this video, so this was a learning experience for me, and I hope it was for you too if you've never played it. Anybody who has, leave some strategies down below in the comments. Love to hear from you guys. Also, if any of these cards interest you, feel free to check out my TCGPlayer account. I will leave the link for that below in the description. Also, don't forget to check out my Patreon, my Instagram, or the merch. So, I appreciate you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.